Hey guys, it's Quickie Baby and welcome back to World of Tanks, or should I be introducing myself as Cookie Baby because I left the auto-generated English titles on, and I have to admit, it does a fantastic job, but it can never quite get my intro, so should that be my new name? I guess we're going to have to go with it. Oh no, I can't live that one down. Anyway, today is going to be the day where everything goes right. You're going to be seeing two replays where, you just roll the dice and for some reason you're always going to roll 6, right? And I guess if you're playing some kind of D&D game, is that even a strategy? Just roll 6s? Well, in this couple of rounds that we're going to see, probably that's the case. And when we're playing in a tank like this, a vehicle that I've never featured on the channel, you really do have to roll some 6s. This is the T-150, a Tier 6 Soviet heavy tank, and it has god-awful gun handling, 3.4 seconds aim time, terrible dispersion values when you move the tank, when you turn the turret, and its accuracy, oh god, 0.45, and it doesn't exactly have the biggest gun. Oh my god, look at that reticle. It's like a pineapple on the middle of my screen. So every time you fire this gun, it does feel like you are rolling the dice, so to say, to see if you are going to be damaging your opponents. But when you do, boy, is it satisfying. This has got 107mm main armament with 300 average damage. That's the same gun that's on the Tier 7 Soviet medium tank, the A-44, and also on the Tier 8 Soviet premium heavy tank, the KV-5. Crazy stuff. Ferdinand comes around the corner. Where am I going to shoot him? Well, you might be going, well, why did you shoot him in the outer plate and how did you manage to penetrate? Well, I'll show you in just a second. Now, 167mm of penetration on the standard rounds of this vehicle, and if I hit the weak point on the outside of the Ferdinand, I don't even have to fire APCR. Alright, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about, as you might be wondering how I'm mysteriously managing to go through the front of the Ferdinand every time, but unable to go through the front of the Churchill 7, right? One more shell into the Ferdinand. Will it be 900 damage? Oh, it's going to be a little bit more than 900 damage as we see him roast. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about here. Look at the cheeks of the Ferdinand, they're only 80mm, and so that means that it's not even an auto ricochet at this kind of angle, so you can shoot them as the Ferdinand comes round. I could never penetrate his upper plate or his mid plate. I could go through his lower plate, I guess, but if you can hit the cheeks there, if he's hiding his lower plate, it's easy money against a vehicle like that. And you've got to try and look for all of the opportunities you can, right? If you want to try and save some credits, not have to dab that 2 key as much. Or even if you just get a little bit of pride of dealing with vehicles that are 2 tiers higher than you easily because of your knowledge of the game. And when you're shooting tanks that are 2 tiers higher than you, that's 20% bonus experience. Talking about tanks that are 2 tiers higher than me, there we go, the Borsig. We snap one into him, and I have no idea what he was trying to shoot there. Do you think he was just firing in frustration? Possibly, but a nice 294 damage dealt to him. Now, I could load some high explosive rounds here, but oh gosh, an AMX-12T's nailing me in the back. The high explosive rounds do 360, so there's the first one, 305 into him. We just got to get up in his face and hope that his 128mm doesn't hit me, and boy, it doesn't. Now we can penetrate a high explosive round. Can we kill him by giving him little love bumps before he reloads? Well, that does it as well. The artillery on the enemy team saves me from probably losing 500 hit points against the Borsig. He does 222 to me and kills his own Tier 8 German tank destroyer. Well, I guess that's a result, and in the first 4 minutes of this game we're up to 3,000 damage, mostly done to tanks that are 2 tiers higher than me, and now it's just a case of mopping up the rest of the enemy team. Goodbye VK, AMX-12T, are you going to come around the corner and try your luck against the T-150 as well? Now this is one of the very few tanks in the game that I would recommend probably taking a gun-laying drive on rather than, say, coated optics. It's as blind as a bat anyway. It's got 330 meters view range. Unless you're in the face of your opponents, you're not really going to be spotting them. So you might as well try and boost that up a little bit, or shall I say, reduce the aim time a little bit to be able to give you a chance to deal those 300 alpha damage bombs. It does feel rather nice having this gun on this vehicle. But then again, I have got a video on this channel showing you exactly what the KV used to be like. And no, I'm not saying the KV-1, not the KV-2. Those 2 tanks used to be the same thing, and it was at Tier 5. You could use this gun, the 107mm, with the equivalent of a KV-2 turret, I believe, at Tier 5. You can go and check that out, and I'll put it in the more info icon in the top right-hand corner of your screen. So now we're playing in the Tier 9 French light tank, the AMX 1390, and we're going to see if we can continue rolling sixes on Sand River when we're attacking. Now, I don't really mind attacking too much in my light tanks on Sand River. The first thing that I'm going to do is to hit that mid-ridge and try to do some, I guess, some figure of 8 maneuvers to try and at least make myself a tricky target to hit, while still hopefully lighting up as many targets on the enemy team as possible. Now, there are 2 self-propelled guns on my team, 2 self-propelled guns on the enemy team. That means that I need to watch out, but also I'm just praying that maybe one of the artillery is going to start things off good and lay a big old shell, hopefully into the Scorpion G. Now, the AMX 1390, I believe, has 6 degrees of gun depression. Yep, not quite as good as the Tier 10 tank, which I'm still trying to get the credits for to get my hands on. But when I did play through the AMX 1390, I thought it was an absolute beast. When they changed this tank to Tier 9, they changed the magazine, so it no longer had that 1,440 average damage magazine. But what it can do now is 960 in a much shorter period, because they reduced the shell unload speed down to 2.21, and so that means you can actually get out 960 damage within 6 2/3 seconds of the first shot, and that is very, very powerful indeed. Now, one thing that I do love about the AMX 1390 as well is that it's not all about the gun. The vehicle can still do that stereotypical light tank roll. Sure, it's got 380 meters view range at Tier 9, which isn't the best, but that's still enough. And also remember that this tank, as it's an autoloader, can't use a gun rammer, so that gives you a whole extra equipment slot. So it's very likely you're going to be taking coated optics and vents. So to all intents and purposes, this really has about 390 meters base view range if you weren't going to take the vents anyway on your other light tanks. But then again, there is an argument to drop things like your vertical stabilizers on some of your light tanks. Well, not all of them. But now Wargaming are pushing down the view range. It's something that I did on my T100 LT, and it's had a great effect. Although the T100 LT has monstrous gun dispersion values when you're moving and when you're turning the turret, so I definitely wouldn't recommend doing that on all of your light tanks. Some of them really do depend on their gun, and vertical stabilizers will really help you to be able to engage. Now, we haven't really seen anything too dramatic at the start of this game. I'm spending the first 25% of this match, at least the first 2.5 minutes of this 10-minute round when we're assaulting on Sand River, just trying to get that soft damage. You don't want to lose your hit points too willingly at the start of the game in your lights, because I feel that towards the end, when your enemies are a little bit more damaged and when you can manage to isolate them, when some of their numbers have been thinned out, that's where your light tanks and your autoloaders are going to be all that more powerful. Now, there's a Bat Chatillon 12T, my little baby brother there, who wants to grow up to be the AMX 1390 next year. And I'm eyeing up, well, we're going to be seeing that we're going to be having hopefully some good teamwork with him in just a little bit. But oh wow, the T43, we dodged his shell. He felt that autoloader. Yeah, the unload speed on this tank can really surprise people. And one thing that's killer as well is the vehicle's actually had a DPM increase compared to when it used to have the 6-round magazine. Its DPM is just shy of 2,000, which is not really that bad. It's not horrific. And so you do manage to get your magazines out fairly quickly in this vehicle. And look at this. Oh, don't quite manage to get the second shot into the Scorpion, but hopefully we can shoot the Swedish tank destroyer. There's one into him. Will we find the final magazine? Well, the final shot in the magazine. Yes, we will. But oh gosh, we didn't roll a 6 there, right, guys? And the one that we pretty much fully aimed didn't quite go in. So now 4 minutes into the game, we're up to 1,500 damage, and we're just slowly but surely whittling down our opponents and hopefully providing some view range. But I decided now it's time to go in, boys. We put one into the T. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, this hasn't gone at all how I wanted it to. The artillery hits me. We failed to penetrate the first shot. And thank goodness the Bat Chatillon 12T came with us. Otherwise, we would have been in a whole heap of trouble. But luckily, the Bat Chatillon 12T on the enemy team misses me as I'm retreating. Wow, I am lucky to be alive there. That first miss was of absolute crucial significance. But now the Bat Chatillon 12T on the enemy team isn't quite loaded. We put one into him. We're going to put 2 into him. We ram him a little bit. We don't actually manage to do any damage, and we need to roll really high here to kill him. Oh, wow. Roll the dice. 273 damage done. I did all 1,000 hit points to that Bat Chatillon 12T. You know what? I shouldn't have been able to do that. I should have done 960 on average. That guy should have been alive with 40 hit points. But, you know, we're rolling good, and I guess we're just going to go with it. And now with 5 minutes left on this game, 4 kills in. Wow, we're starting to feel a little bit flash here. The IKV bombs his way over the ridge, unable to hit us with his shell. We finish him off, and we're reloading. And unfortunately, we've kicked so much butt in this game now, up to 5 kills and nearly 3,000 damage, that we've run out of our standard ammunition, and we're going to have to dip into those premium rounds that I usually reserve for shooting at, you know, your tier 9 heavies and your tier 10 heavy tanks as well. 248 millimeters of penetration, a big upgrade over the 205 millimeters on the standard round. And one thing you might be noticing there, why was I reversing like a maniac and not just aiming up at the T-34-100? And that's because this vehicle has got terrible gun elevation. So if you can get above an AMX 1390, that might be one of your opportunities to make it look really silly. In fact, this vehicle only has 12 degrees of elevation. Come on. English, do you speak it? 12 degrees of gun elevation and 6 degrees of depression. I think I just combined those two words when I was thinking about it there. And so that means that you've only got, what, 18 degrees up and down? That's really not a lot if you're sitting in the perfect location. So here comes a Foch. That thing's got an autoloader now, right? Got to watch out for him. So what I'm going to do is hopefully take... Actually, I tell a lie. This is in the 9.19.1 where that Foch hasn't quite got the autoloader. And so that's why I was able to bomb it round the corner to be able to engage him and shut him down. But some tight work there to take an opportunity. Do you see how he wanted to ram us? And we just reversed, let him go forwards, and then managed to get his side. That was actually a beautiful moment. I am definitely going with it. You know, when you do get a bit of momentum and you get a little bit of luck, you just got to go with it, guys. And the artillery assists me by tracking the Jagdpanther. I take the opportunity to dive to get the side of his vehicle, and we finish him off. Wow. That was a pretty intense Randley Walters in the end, taking down 2 tank destroyers there. One lower tier, one higher tier, but they were both very healthy. And wow, a great game in the 1390 in the end. I guess we are rolling some 6s after all, right? Just like in the T150 gameplay. So now a tier 8 German tank destroyer spotted on the horizon. It's just him, a Jagdtiger, and a GW Tiger P to take out. Well, now the Disco Boy and his Bat Chatillon 12T shuts him down. We don't have to worry about him as well. We're going to be shooting the back of the Jagdtiger. Oh, it just feels so filthy to not have those extra rounds to be able to engage him with. We put one into him, and we put one into the Jagdtiger, and we set him on fire for a little bit of bonus damage, but unfortunately, doesn't look like it's going to tick all the way, and so we don't quite get to secure the 10th kill, and Disco Boy, who saved me earlier on, takes out the Jagdtiger, and we're left awkwardly on 9. But wow, what a result anyway in the 1390. So in the T150, we get a Pascucci's medal for killing 2 self-propelled guns on the enemy team, a high caliber in our +2 matchmaking for 3,696 damage with our 4 kills, 1,751 base experience points in under a 5-minute game. And very fittingly for this video, we get a lucky medal, and that is where an enemy team member kills one of their own tanks that was in very close proximity to you, within 10 meters to be exact. And because we were firing at weak points rather than dabbing that Tukey, we make 57,000 credits profit. Well, that and also getting rather lucky, right guys? Next up in the AMX 1390, this was a Randley Walters medal for our 9 kills, a high caliber for 6,000 damage dealt in this sub 8-minute game. How much spotting did we do? 1,564. I wasn't really too keen on what the artillery were doing, but actually, he did do some substantial damage in the end. And he also saved me against the Jagdpanther, or maybe not saved me, but allowed me to progress the situation to secure the kill. Just looks like maybe he was shooting at tanks that I wasn't spotting, right? So nothing wrong with that. But unfortunately, this time we ran out of standard shells, and we had to fire a few premium rounds, so we spent 55,000 credits on ammunition, but still make a decent profit, although I must add that I played this game while using a credit reserve, and so really I only made about 10k, and when you factor in that I used coffee, which I usually buy for 10k credits, it was a break-even game. But 9 kills, 6,000 damage, break-even, I'm okay with that. And so there you have it, 2 rounds where everything went absolutely right. Easy sailing, right? Just keep rolling 6s and it's gonna go okay for you. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it, and let me know in the comments down below what was your luckiest moment in World of Tanks. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.